Your court television news starting now.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's special broadcast of the NJ Courts TV news show. And we've got a special show for you tonight. Actually, we've got a special interview and guest this evening, which we haven't had in a while. So we are going to get to it. I appreciate everybody's patience already. I know we had a lot of people in chat, so I'm going to let a couple of minutes to go out in the notification. In the meantime, I'm going to go down and say hi to everybody and kind of give you guys an itinerary of how tonight's going to go, all right? It is going to be very informative. I'm very excited because this is a case that, although we've done a basic update, since that update, there's a lot that's changed and a lot that's happened. And our special guest tonight, Will, is somebody that I've met personally and met through the channel and has been somebody that's, spoken in our chat as well. But two, Will has been on top of this court case and has done an excellent job posting his own clips and his own coverage of the case. So we're going to bring on Will here in a little bit and pretty much have him, give him the free mic to kind of give us an update as what's been going on since pretty much the announcement of the charges, which I think is basically what we did, introduced you to who Nick Rekieta was, which we'll give a basic introduction today for those of you that may be new to this case. But most importantly, that day, we just went over the charges that he was, the charges that he was being charged with, and just kind of gave a little bit of a basic summary of what was going on. I know since then I haven't done much of an update. I was waiting for pretty much us to get close to the next court case. Court case having to do with Nick Rekieta, because again, there's been two individuals that were arrested in this case, and other things have came up. So, like I said, if you're not sure what's been going on since the last time I'm updating you, you're in for a surprise, okay? And like I said, Will's the guy to give us that update, so I'm really excited to bring him on tonight. Dobby, what's up? Sorry. But like I said, we're going to get a lot learned. I'm probably going to sidetrack from what I was saying earlier, but either way, we're going to learn a lot tonight about this case. And hopefully by end of tonight, all of us should be pretty versed as well as what is going on with the Nick Rekieta case. Okay, so let me jump over to chat. Let me get kind of set up here. I think definitely the monitor, my little camera or monitor camera here needs to be wiped down. Let me get my little, where did I put my, there it is. Did you guys even notice I even dressed nice for tonight, okay? It's been a while since we've had like a real guest interview, so had to look kind of sharp. All right, what up? Let's go to the top here and say hi. See some names I haven't seen in a bit. So, again, welcome to everybody joining the chat. We got ICU in the house first today, or actually for tonight's chat. Good to see you, my friend. Trying to beat out Roofer, I see. What up, Pamela Week? Let's see. What up, Eric W? What up, Sicilian Princess? What up, Cat Crazy? Nice to see all the members of the jury. What up, Roofer? Hey, yo. What up, Kelval? Hey, I appreciate you being here. I'm looking forward to it as well. We've got a lot of people, believe it or not, that have been following this case. And, it's obviously got a lot of attention. This is a case I'm going to start tonight's show with showing you guys, and this will be a good way for those that are new to this case to kind of catch up. I'm going to show you guys a clip straight from the, the law and, I always want to say in order. I think I'm right. Or is it law and crime? The Law and Crime YouTube channel, which we feature a lot of clips from them. They're 1 million plus channel. And like I said, this case has garnered and attracted a lot of big coverage from a lot of small YouTube channels like myself up to channels like the Law and Crime Network. So we're going to start off playing a clip with them. And I think I have already watched it. And I think it was a pretty good little, 10 to 15. I don't even think it's more than 15 minutes. I think it's about a 12-minute clip that'll pretty much catch us up on mostly everything that I think is important for the case. And of course, we'll get all the deets and stuff we don't know about or what we didn't hear about in that little clip from Will. there's another guy named Aaron that's part of this whole thing going on. Like I said, it gets pretty interesting. I've learned a lot just from pretty much catching myself up in the last few days. So, like I said, we'll bring on Will here in a bit, and I'm very excited for him to catch us all up on this Nick Rekieta case. All right. Okay, cool. So here in a second, I'm gonna post some links for our special guest tonight, Will Heron. I'm going to post his channel link as well as his email. So if you guys have any questions, if you're okay with that, Will, if you guys have any questions or want to reach out to him, as long as he's okay with me posting his email, you're more than welcome to reach out. So I'll wait to see what he says about that. And then, of course, we're going to bring him on here as soon as we finish playing that clip, and we'll get to it. All right. Okay, let's see, going down the line. I think we stopped at Kelval. I don't know if I said hello, Cat Crazy, but if I forgot hello, going down the line. Beyond the Badge, good to see you. All right, Black Widow Channel, good to see you, my friend. All right, we got Johnny Donuts in the house. Hey, yo. All right. Welcome, everybody. And like I said, you don't have to be participating in the chat to be considered a viewer or somebody that I don't thank. I thank everybody for being here. So I appreciate it, everybody, even you up in the nosebleeders, all the haters, all right? Like I said, a view's a view. All right. So let's start posting some links here, and then we're just going to get right to that clip, and then we'll introduce Will on. And I have a few questions. I'm pretty much going to let him take over the floor. And then if you guys have questions in chat, I'll start kind of writing them down. Or I'm sure Will's probably a lot better than I am in answering questions in chat. And so he'll be probably answering some of those from you guys. But either way, we'll pick his brain a little bit, okay? But like I said, before we get to the interview with him, we're just going to play a quick clip to get us all up to date on the Nick Rekieta case. And even then, I don't even think it's going to get us all up to date, but as close as we can. And then we'll bring on our special guest. So this is going to be Will's channel link here. So let me start with that. I was having trouble with this earlier. Let me go to more, and there is the link. All right, cool. And I see your email address link here, so I'm pretty sure you're okay with me posting this, but I'll double check with Will before I do. Okay, so let's jump over here. So this is going to be the channel link for Will Heron's channel page, and he has other coverage as well, but I think right now, and I may be mistaken, his main focus has been the Nick Rekieta case. So you'll see a lot of videos, and I think he's doing live streams now, so you can catch some of his lives. So definitely subscribe if you haven't, and I'm going to highly suggest after we finish with tonight's update, of course, I'm going to keep you guys updated as we go on this case, but if you're going to, if you're interested in this case and going forth, if you want to get the best updates on the Nick Rekieta case, I'm going to hand it over to my man, Will, here. So I would suggest that you subscribe to him if you're going to be interested in following this case, because he's probably going to do a way better job than I will, especially when we've got, how many cases now that we're covering, and then how many more that are obviously continue to add on to the caseload. So, as I'll do my best to keep you updated on this case, but definitely I would suggest subscribing to Will to keep updated as far as, your up-to-date updates. All right. Let me catch up on the comments here. What up, Block? What up, Lucky Charms? What up, Token? All right. Stop talking. Get to it. What up, Sophie Dennis? I was wondering when I get my first little hater. We're getting to it. And you know what? It's important to shout out all these people, because this is how these channels work. Without our viewers, without their donators, channel like mine, wouldn't be here. This is a channel that's ran 100% from the donations from our viewers. So, you know what? Don't hate if we take a little bit of time to say thank you to those people. Got to be a little bit appreciative. All right. So let me ask again, can I post your link, email link? And then let me get Will. Well, actually, we'll play the video, and then I can work on sending Will the StreamYard link. All right. So without further ado, let me get over to that clip that'll hopefully get us all up to date as much as we can on this Nick Rekieta case. And then we're just going to get straight to our interview with Mr. Will Heron, okay? So here you go. Let me get this presented up here for you. Share screen. Here we go. Again, this is from the Law and Crime. Actually, let me share this link here too. So if you want to catch this clip again, I'm going to share the link for you right now. But without further ado, I present the Law and Crime Sidebar with Jesse Weber. YouTuber Nick Rekieta and wife charged with child endangerment, drug possession is the title.
You may know him from his online legal commentary, but YouTuber and attorney Nick Rekieta is in some legal trouble of his own. We break down his arrest, the search warrant, and the charges he's now facing, which could potentially result in prison time. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Hey, everybody, this is a Law and Crime legal alert. Google Incognito tracked users' browsing data without their knowledge. Yep, well, Mass Tort Alliance, one of our legal sponsors, is actually helping users file for compensation due to Google users' privacy issues surrounding Google Incognito. So if you've used Google Incognito anytime since 2016, you can start your claim in less than 10 questions at incognitoclaims.com/sidebar. Nick Rekieta. Now, this is a name you may have heard of before. Why do I say that? Online personality, Minnesota lawyer, legal commentator, runs the YouTube page Rekieta Law that currently has 446,000 subscribers. Really came to fame for his legal analysis of trials like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard and Kyle Rittenhouse. And clearly, he has developed quite the following. But now, Mr. Rekieta finds himself in the spotlight for not a great reason. No, he and his wife, Kayla, were arrested and charged with felony second-degree drug possession, as well as 2 misdemeanors of child endangerment and firearms possession. And in a search warrant application that was filed in connection with this case, we learned a lot more details. And that is what we're going to go through now, this search warrant. So this warrant was authored by Minnesota peace officer, Detective Quinn Pomplin. And he writes that essentially there is probable cause to believe that controlled substances like meth and cocaine and other drug paraphernalia are located at Rekieta's house, and he wants to conduct a search of that property between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. And from there, the rest of the document lays out the timeline of events. So Pomplin writes that on May 16, 2024, Kandiyohi County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Dave Nestor received a report regarding possible child neglect and controlled substance use at Rekieta's home. Rekieta had been living there with his wife and 5 children, ages 6 to 16. And apparently, by the way, this report originated from people who attended Rekieta's church. We're going to get into that in a second. But there's also an allegation that the Rekietas had a, quote, questionable relationship with another couple. And this is where Pomplin describes Aaron and April Imholty. And according to Pomplin, the Rekietas had befriended the Imholtys, who apparently are personalities from an online show called the Steel Toe Morning Show. But Pomplin says it's possible that this couple had a falling out with the Rekietas. Apparently, the Imholtys were staying with the Rekietas in their home, a home that was reportedly cluttered and in disarray. In fact, a church preschool teacher reported that these children that I had mentioned had complained of being hungry, not being provided food, and were wearing the same clothes for days. As for Mr. Rekieta, he was apparently lethargic and appeared high or drugged driving a car around. The document goes on to state, quote, another individual advised the reporter that Nicholas will walk out randomly during sermons at church and have noticed behavioral changes in him. It was alleged that Kayla looks anorexic, and Nicholas has lost a substantial amount of weight recently. One individual describes Nicholas as having injection or track marks on his arms. So with that, Pomplin explains that he started looking at Rekieta's online videos where he noticed that the YouTuber's appearance had seemed to change over recent months, namely that, yes, he lost weight, he appears tired, and, quote, strung out. But let's actually go back to the Imholtes, that couple I mentioned. Well, Pomplin explains that Aaron indicated on his social media that he and his wife were planning on getting a divorce, and he himself had experimented with cocaine and Molly multiple times. In fact, it appears the Imholtes had broadcast one of their podcast shows from December seemingly out of the Rekieta home. Pomplin explains that in recent videos, April appears lethargic, tired, and, quote, strung out. But in other videos, Aaron seems to suggest that Nicholas Rekieta has substance abuse issues and needs help. Pomplin says that he reviewed a video of Rekieta from May 21st, 2024, where he's allegedly drinking and appears under the influence and has to close one eye to read the screen, rambles, slurs his words, and at one point, Pomplin says that Rekieta seems to have a white powdery substance on his nose after coming back from the bathroom. Now, it's important to note that Pomplin highlights at one point in this search warrant that at one point in time, he was a drug recognition evaluator for several years. So it seems that maybe this could be a way that he is trying to qualify himself to the court as someone who has the training and experience to detect possible symptoms of drug abuse. But let's move on. So the search was actually conducted. And according to a property inventory sheet that was also authored by Pomplin, and according also to local reporting, here is a sampling of what was found in the Rekieta house. Baggies and containers that tested positive for cocaine, multiple tablets that tested positive for ketamine, a digital scale, other items that had a white substance on them, like a $100 bill, a metal pan, a Ziploc with multiple small baggies. And a lot of this, by the way, reportedly found in the master bedroom, where according to local reporting, that is where Rekieta allegedly told police he and his wife had stayed. There was also a Sig Sauer 380 handgun, magazines with ammo, and spent shell casings and a loose bullet and ammunition that was found, as well as a Remington shotgun and a Springfield Armory 45 1911 handgun. Now, reporting indicates that when the warrant was executed on May 23rd, police were greeted by a girl who allegedly wouldn't let police in, and Rekieta allegedly refused to give officers the door code. So that's when police apparently had to use a door ram to barge into the property. Also, reporting indicates that Rekieta didn't answer questions regarding the suspected cocaine. Now, we can't independently verify that, but if that is true, perhaps that wouldn't be so surprising because people in that situation may not want to say too much at that point. Remember, you have the right to remain silent. By the way, we also can't confirm the status of the children of that home or if Child Protective Services were called or where they are or anything like that. Just want to make that point clear. But now let me talk to you about the criminal charges here. So Mr. Rekieta had a virtual hearing, and it seems that at this time, as he indicated to the court, he's representing himself. Maybe not surprising considering he is in fact an attorney. Now, we've seen in other cases of attorneys getting into trouble with the law where they retain outside counsel, either because they maybe aren't familiar with criminal law as much as their own practice, or it can even be because they want that sense of independence and detachment from the case, maybe have someone look at it from an objective point of view. Sometimes it's also just useful to retain a lawyer if they have the resources that you might not have. But here, with a case like this, perhaps Mr. Rekieta may feel it best for him to represent himself. I mean, during this initial hearing, he is clearly comfortable with the process, knows the questions to ask, understands the language, knows what's going on.
The pineal gland has tiny little
Oh,
cilia,
boo-hoo!
hair-like extensions
Hold on, let me
all
get
around
through this
them.
commercial.
When you hold your breath and you...
There we go.
Could he change his mind down the line? Sure. And decide to have someone represent him? Of course. But we'll see if that happens. Now, here's something interesting, too, talking about him representing himself and him acting as his own attorney, and the fact that he is an attorney, is that during this hearing, which was conducted over Zoom, you actually see Nicholas Rekieta in jail. He indicates to the court that he wants to see his two clients. One, apparently his wife, who was also arrested, and the other, April Imholte. She was also arrested. Remember, she was reportedly staying with the Rekietas. And apparently, April, according to the court, had already been released. But the judge did allow Nicholas Rekieta to speak with his wife before she would appear later on in court for her hearing. The judge did say, though, to Mr. Rekieta, you are charged as co-defendants. I don't know if that's a waivable conflict at this point in time for you to represent them, but it seems he's going to allow the judge who ultimately oversees this case to work that out. So now let's talk about the charges. So Rekieta is facing a charge of second-degree possession of 25 grams or more of cocaine or methamphetamine. Now, this is actually encapsulated in a Minnesota statute 152.022. And it says this is when a person is guilty of controlled substance crime in the second degree if the person unlawfully possesses one or more mixtures of a total weight of 25 grams or more containing cocaine or methamphetamine. And this is a very, very serious charge. Why? Because there is a maximum sentence of 25 years in prison and or a $500,000 fine. Count 2, possession of ammunition or firearms by a user of controlled substances. This is a gross misdemeanor, so you're really looking there at a max of less than 1 year in prison, up to 1 year in prison, 364 days in prison, or a $3,000 fine. Count 3, also a misdemeanor. This is child endangerment. And this is child endangerment when you knowingly cause or permit a child to be present for the sale or possession of controlled substances. Now, based on the language of that law, perhaps prosecutors would be alleging that these young kids were in the house and were exposed to the drugs, which, for me would raise the question of whether these children could potentially be called as witnesses in a future case. What did they see? What did they observe? Now, I should tell you that during this proceeding, again, which was on Zoom, something very interesting happened. Someone interrupted the proceedings and said something, actually appeared to use profanity. It was during the course of these charges being read. It was very odd, and the judge had to issue a warning that this is a court of law, that this will not be tolerated. And then the court clerk took away everyone's ability to unmute themselves on that Zoom. It was disabled by the court clerk, so there would be no more interruptions. But moving on from there, it was some preliminary questions during the hearing where Rekieta said he understood the charges. He waived his right to have the complaint read to him. Now, the judge ended up siding with the prosecution on release conditions. So the state had requested $50,000 unconditional bail, or RPR. That's when you're released on your own personal recognizance. You just have to keep showing back up to court on your own. But you also have to promise to do a few things. No drug use. You have to subject yourself to random testing. No use or possession of firearms. You have to contact probation. You can't leave the state without the permission of the court. You have to remain a law-abiding citizen, and so forth. Rekieta had objected to the $50,000, said it was unduly burdensome under the 8th Amendment of the Constitution, which says that excessive bail shall not be required. But again, the judge disagreed, sided with the prosecution. And it has been reported that since that hearing, Rekieta has posted the $50,000 bail, and he has actually requested a new judge to oversee this case. Reportedly, he had asked to replace Judge Jennifer Fisher with Judge Stephen Wenzel. There was a hearing that was set for August, but it's being reported that that has since been canceled. Okay, so now with all that in mind, let's talk big picture. At this point, these are just allegations. He's charged, but he hasn't been convicted of any crimes. And at this time, it also seems he's not even entered a plea. He's not even entered a not guilty plea or entered any sort of plea at this point in time. Rekieta will have an opportunity to fight these charges. He'll have an opportunity to hold the prosecution to their burden. It would seem to me that the testimony of those in the house and what those videos allegedly show could potentially be problematic for his case. However, arguably one of the most potentially problematic allegations in this case is where the drugs were found. As I mentioned, they were reportedly found in the home, in the master bedroom. In the law, there is something we call constructive possession. You are deemed to be in possession of contraband if it's, let's say, in your car, in your home, on your property. Now, perhaps Mr. Rekieta could argue that his house guests brought these drugs and drug paraphernalia, and he didn't know they were in his house. But again, remember, the drugs were reportedly found in these key locations. And I imagine with that, he'll also argue that he is not a drug user, that he was tired and he lost weight because of other reasons, maybe stress, work, what have you. I imagine he may also challenge the search warrant that I mentioned as well. We've seen that happen in many different cases where defendants challenge the very basis to conduct that search. And if the search was invalid, anything that was found during the course of that search cannot be introduced into evidence. So there's a number of different avenues here, a number of different ways this could play out, and we will see how this unfolds. That's all we have for you here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. I'll speak to you next time.
All right, Mr. Jesse Weber, I appreciate that update. And thank you guys for your patience on that. Like I said, I know a lot of people probably that are in here, maybe people that follow Will and already knew about all that. But I know for a lot of my folks, except for the just last update we did, I think last month, I think that was even at the beginning of last month, which, like I said, was a very basic and short one. This probably, hopefully, caught us up to the most part. Now, again, a lot of things since this came out has changed, and that's why I'm hoping Will tonight will bring us up to date on the most current events, I guess we can say, in regards to the Nick Rekieta case. You guys got a little bit of some summary there from that clip, but there's a lot of other stuff that's been just thrown into this case. I mean, I think the reason this case is probably garnered as much attention as it has is, I mean, you got pretty much the ingredients of a fucking movie here, okay? You got sex, drugs, lawyers, swingers, scandals, money, all sorts of stuff going on here. I even think the defendant here, even Mr. Rekieta himself, is probably going to be riding on a lot of this to just garner more attention towards his YouTube channel. You know how a lot of these people that we've covered are narcissists. A lot of them, you can even call them sociopaths in a way, that, put in light, even stream a lot of these things that they're doing or crimes that they're committing. So again, we find ourselves kind of in the same seat that we've seen ourselves with a lot of these individuals that we cover, except I think you can say we're moving up a little bit more on the list, maybe from a Z to a D-lister or something like that now. Before I bring on Aaron, I just want to give you a little bit of background. I'm going to let, sorry, Aaron, Will. Sorry, Will. You don't look anything like that. I don't know why I keep getting that name in my head. Before I bring Will up, not Aaron, hopefully he'll discuss a little bit about this guy, Aaron. I want to just kind of give you a little bit of a quick background, and then, of course, I hope Will will touch a little bit more on it. But for some of you that are wondering where this Nick Rekieta gets some of his YouTube fame, well, fame, I guess you could say, comes from his YouTube channel. He is a YouTube commentator. He's a lawyer. So obviously, a lot of people are going to go to him because, they're going to believe in a lawyer knows what they're talking about, especially when they're commenting and covering a lot of legal cases. I guess what brought him to a little bit of the YouTube fame, or brought him a lot of notoriety, or I guess you could say probably some of his bigger cases that he's covered, were I think Johnny Depp Amber Heard case. I believe I had heard Karen Reed. I may be wrong about that. And there's probably some others that I'm missing. So hopefully we'll touch more on that and give us a little bit more of a background as far as who Nick is. And of course, don't forget his wife is involved in this case. Okay, so can't take all the light off of, we can't put him all in the light because there's some other people that are involved with this now. So without further ado, I present to you, I'm just kidding, Will Heron. All right, and this is @TVs_Will. That's Will with one L _ Heron, HERREN. Get that right, Will? All right, here we go. Hey, Will, how are you doing, sir?
What's up, man? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you fine. Hopefully, chat can.
Heck
But
yeah.
you sound great, man.
I feel like you punked me. I'm a little upset. I see you got a nice jacket suit on. You're looking all clean cut. I'm wearing a hoodie and a ball cap, man. Come on.
Well, I guess we should have coordinated because I'm not going to lie. I thought you were going to come on kind of like this, because I was listen, I was already going to come on with this. I have my, just show you what I'm wearing under here.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
So we're not too formal tonight, okay?
I brought my sports coat after I saw you, but like, it wouldn't look good with the hoodie. You know what I'm saying? It'd be
Hey,
all
man, I
weird.
dig in the Zia hat, bro. I appreciate your rep in the state of Nuevo Mexico. Oh, I like that, man. Nice.
Yeah, that was when I was in sports in El Paso back there, covering the team when they went to one of the bowl games and stuff like that. So yeah,
Okay.
love me some Aggies and NMSU.
Well, I mean, and then, and that's what I like. If you wouldn't mind, and I didn't want to do it, because obviously you know more about yourself than I do, but if you don't mind starting off, maybe just giving a little bit of background about yourself and, even how you got to the tubes, and your channel. And then, the mic is yours if you kind of just want to fill us in. And I have a few questions that once, we kind of get to some points, or maybe I'll cut you off. I'm really good at doing that and ask you. But of course, I'm going to be monitoring chat and writing down their questions. If you see anything in chat that you want to address or answer, by all means. And I'm excited to have you on. And again, like I said, I know you're very knowledgeable on this case. I've encouraged all of my chat to subscribe to you, especially if they're going to want to continue gaining coverage of this. I'm going to try to do my best, but I'm sure, as you know, that I've got a whole other stack of other individuals that I'm covering in addition to the Nick Rekieta case. So I really appreciate you coming on and filling us in on everything. So.
Yeah, your check's in the mail. Thank you very much.
It was all yours. And then just so you know, we don't pay guests, okay? So you're fine with that? This is a freebie?
Yeah, I guess it is now.
Right.
I mean, I find this stuff out,
I just asked because if we were on a some type of time, if we were going to be charging by the hour, I was just going to check my time here and just make sure we're under budget. So,
well, how much would you pay me if that's something that's on the table?
I was looking at $5 or something like that.
I'll take it. I'm just kidding.
All right, I'll get you a beer or coffee.
That'll work. That will be even.
Sounds good, brother. Hey, well, the stage is all yours, man.
Okay, so I was kind of thinking about what you were saying. Let's just start off real quick, and I know some of the people in the chat are saying this as well. It's Rekieta.
Okay, thank you, Rekieta.
Yeah, and then
I'm known to fuck up names, so
it's all good. And I know people they get real frustrated with that, and it is kind of an uncommon name, and a lot of people say it incorrectly. So you're not alone, but I know that makes chat go nuts.
Okay.
Rekieta.
All right, chat. So I wrote it down even like they teach you in elementary. Okay, Rekieta.
Perfect.
Hey, and one last thing before and I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Can we also give me a pronunciation correction on the city?
Sorry.
Okay. So it's hold on, let me try and then see if I get it right. Let's see if I'm gonna murder this. Hold on, because I am gonna cheat. Okay, hold on. I'm not gonna cheat. I did write it down. Okay, I looked at it once. It's Candiohai.
Oh yeah. I'm not even gonna try to mess with the county there. Candioci or something like that.
I think
county up in Minnesota.
So you don't know. I think it's actually Candiohi. So Chad, if I'm right, let me know. If not, if I fucked it up, I'm sorry. That's the best thing I can pronounce it. So, all right. And then we have April and Aaron
Imholt.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, yeah, both names are commonly kind of misconstrued and spoken incorrectly, and that's all right, man. You kind of read it as you see it, but yeah, following Steel Toe and stuff like that is how I know it's Imholt.
Yeah, I'm not a follower of that show. As a matter of fact, I'm just new to that show as just learning it from this whole case here. So
isn't it wild?
I hope you could touch base a little bit on that because I'm pretty interested on how the fuck that all got involved. And now that, like I said, I just kind of just quickly trying to verse myself in this. I'm just amazed as all this, the new stuff and stuff, just crazy shit that's came out, since I pretty much gave an update. So I hope you can fill us in on all the deets. So,
most definitely. And like what's was a daunting task that you gave me. And I was thinking, like, how do I break this thing down from the very beginning and get to where you're at now? Because again, just like the video you just saw, that was a long video that was kind of cut short, and that's when it first began. Like it is morphed and gone in different directions, and like there's actually been a really big something that's taking place within the case. I kind of don't want to give it away, but do you want to know, like, you want an update like it today almost?
Well, let's start with this really quick. Can we start with what are the for those that may not even know or didn't catch it in the video, in the clip, what is Nick being charged with right now? What are the charges that he's facing right now?
So the possession of the cocaine and endangerment to the children and stuff like that.
Okay.
So those are basically what they were
what
hitting.
I written down. Okay.
Right.
Got
it. What had happened was people that knew his family. They want to say Aaron may have done it as well. Aaron has kind of alluded that he had spoken with the police about it, but he's been real wishy-washy in that department. But so yeah, basically, family members and church members approached CPS, and people that cannot not tell CPS that something like that was going on. From what, again, the court records had said and what they had said back and forth is that the children were showing up hungry, dirty, wearing the same clothes, and even talking to, their family members. And so Nick's kids, they're homeschooled, but not at Nick's house, basically, with a group of homeschool families that all homeschool together. He's obviously Christian, conservative, and stuff like that. So those are basically the morals and such that he has his kids being schooled in. And it's all based around a church as well. He's also very religious, as you probably know, always going to church. He does these religious streams now as well after it's gone through. So I'm telling you, there's so much to this story. I don't really know where to begin. But I think an easy way to kind of explain where he came onto the scene goes back to the Discord days, like 2016, 2017. These were blood sports. I don't know if you've heard of those, where people would get in a Discord channel like with Ethan Ralph and go on the kill stream, and they would just fight with each other. It was basically people that were involved in stuff, drama, games. It was during the Gamergate stuff. That's kind of when Nick Rekieta jumped onto the scene with a lot of these people. After one of the big battles between Tonkasaw and Andy Worski, they were going to box. This guy Tonkasaw didn't show up. Andy came with Ethan Ralph, and then
it's like a physical boxing fight they set up.
Set up a physical boxing match.
Kudos to that shit, man.
Went all the way, but Tonkasaw at the last second didn't want to get blood work. So he disqualified himself days before the actual event. So Andy came down and was like, hey, I'm here, but let's have a party. So they did. It was on the fight card of a fight that was already taking place. It just got scratched, basically, but he still came out. So Nick Rekieta interviewed Tonkasaw that night and got a real long interview. And of course, everybody knows that Nick is a lawyer, a real smart guy. He was dealing with the Vic Mignogna thing as well. That's another thing that kind of got him here into this, the Discord sphere, the sector, him working, I think, with and against the Vic Mignogna stuff over anime and voice acting and stuff like that. So that's where Nick kind of jumped on the scene. After that, as you well know, the Johnny Depp trial, also the Kyle Rittenhouse trials and such, during all the discourse in 2020 and things like that. That's when he shot into the atmosphere. He was the most super chatted streamer, I believe, for the year and stuff like that. He was doing really well. And I kind of knew Nick a little bit on the side from being friends with some of the different creators that I was friends with, that he was also friends with. He probably doesn't remember me, which is probably a good thing. But I never had anything against Nick or for Nick. You know what I'm saying? I'm really just trying to take this down the middle like you do as a regular reporter and stuff like that.
Right. So you've been following him personally for a while now, way before this case came up.
Yes.
And that's awesome. At least you have more, obviously, knowledge in the background of who he was before he kind of came up a little bit on the YouTube scene. And I think now he's almost about maybe it's changed since last time I looked, about 500K subs on his YouTube channel. So definitely considered a big channel, in the YouTube world.
Still, yeah, he streams there. He also streams on Locals and on Rumble. He can be a little more him on Rumble and stuff like that. So that kind of got him going. And then it all kind of goes crazy. Let's say in 2023, maybe a little before that, when, from what I understand, they were in Minnesota at a Chrissy Mayer event. And Chrissy Mayer is also a streamer and let's say a conservative right-wing type of comedian, compound media type people and things like that. She had an event, and then that's where Nick Rekieta was there with his wife, Kayla, and also Aaron Imholt. So Aaron is from that St. Cloud area in Minnesota, and I assume that's also the area that Nick is from. They find each other, know that they're streamers, network, and start hanging out. Well, now Aaron was a DJ, disc jockey, morning guy for one of these shows in St. Cloud's on the FM, like a shock jock. He got into like a battle with another radio station, like his show versus their show. And I think there's a female involved with the other station. Aaron went a little too hard and he basically got fired or taken off, losing his show and his spot on air. He then started this Steel Toe, which he's been doing for around 10 years on the internet.
And can you tell me a little bit about that show, since I'm not familiar? What type of content, or what do they do? What's their
right-wing conservative, kind of pro-Trump stuff? But
so politics. They talk about politics.
Okay. Yeah, a little bit of everything. It's like a morning show. Like they do talk a little politics. They joke around. Of course, Aaron puts his spin on things. It's a little gritty. 4-letter words and things like that. It's basically your shock jock on YouTube where you can kind of say what he wants to say and stuff. Like, it's not terrible. It's you could listen to it as you're, going to work and stuff like that. But you'd have to
sounds like my show.
No, yours is better.
I try not to use a 4-letter word as much, but in that nature, okay. But all right, I'm just kidding there. Okay, and I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Well, thank you. I was hoping you were kind of going to give a little bit of background into the, how those two kind of met. Now that I guess Aaron and this other lady, April, are now involved in this case. So yeah, we'll start getting into their. So like I said, he was a DJ, got fired, started his program. He was I don't know if we can say it. Ashley LaRue was his first wife. We had I think around 3 children with. They then got a divorce, but from what I understand, that's because he started seeing April, who is the woman that he married and was on the show. So basically, she comes in, that marriage divorces. Aaron then remarries April. From what I understand, the family was unhappy with Aaron. Everybody was upset with Aaron for choosing April and for breaking up the family to go with this younger woman. And April's a very pretty woman as well. So I mean, obviously, you understand the attraction and such. What's a little bit of her background, like where she comes from or what she does?
So from when I get, and as a reporter, I will never say I know immediately. I always what they tell me and stuff like that. Right. You know what I'm doing. You get it.
I got you. I understand.
Yeah. So from what I understand, what I get is she's from the same Minnesota area, but she was more of a hands-on. From what we get is her job before was painting pipes and things like that in factories. You know what I'm saying? Like those industrial factories that need like certain coating.
So like commercial painting and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So she was real tough, like a fisher, like a hunter, things like that. Like
generally you don't see a lot of women doing those type of jobs, No offense to my women out there, but.
Word. Yeah. But she seemed really cool. And then as we understand, it looked like she wanted to start going on air. She enjoyed, she was attracted to Aaron because he was on the FM radio. And I guess it was a big deal back then when he was on. So they hook up, they get married, the divorce happens, yada, yada. Now we're getting to this, I'd say 2023 time period when they meet up with Chrissy Mary at the event. They network, and then they start kind of going on each other's shows. One would pop on with the other. Then they started kind of hanging out together. And this is when things kind of get a little wild. Okay. I guess you can call it a quadruple. Polycule is one of the terms.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out right. That's when I just came with swingers, which is probably not the appropriate word to use. But
no, you're right. Aaron called it this, so that's why I'm calling it a polycule. They did swing. That is the terms that Aaron did use to describe all this. And also another thing, Aaron has been the one doing all the talking. Nick hasn't said anything other than he wishes Aaron $1 million. Probably wishes me $1 million. But that's his kind of F you to these people, because I mean, Nick is not dumb, you know this. So
Right.
there's going to be civil stuff coming down the pipe.
I'm
Everybody,
sure he's probably been setting stuff. I mean, this guy
Oh.
sounds like he's probably like a 40 chess type of player. I mean,
Nick's
he's
smart.
not as dumb as I think a lot of people may think. He comes off as a smart guy to me when from based on what I've watched him. Obviously,
Make dumb decisions.
yeah, exactly. I was going to say, obviously, he's
we all do.
not the brightest, but when it comes to, I guess, real world shit, but intelligently, he knows what he's doing when it comes to the law. He's a lawyer. He passed the bar exam. Went to school for it. So, and he's practiced this. So, yeah. I can imagine. I could see now a whole civil side coming after this. So yeah.
And the way Nick sets it up is he never gets into it. He'll dish a little bit, but he never says anything about April. He'll bring up Caleb from time to time, basically just talking about how bad he wants to be back with his children. And then he gets more biblical with things. And I think he tries to equate his struggles through some like sermons he gives, but I think he gets those from going to church. And then he kind of brings that back and then does a stream. Another thing he's been doing is these hot tub streams. He was doing that before, but like he'll jump in the hot tub and talk about his personal life, things like that. Like, it's amazing. It is.
Is he still going to the church that these allegations kind of all started from? Is he still like a current member there? And
yes, from what I understand, he still goes to the same church. I don't think they've ostracized him.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it is a wild situation. So yeah, I guess we'll go back to like 2022, 2023. They start to hang out. And again, as I always put this back to Aaron, is the one who put all this out there. And then, so when you read what you're getting from the police statements and everything that they wrote out for the reports and stuff like that, the way Aaron explained it is they started hanging out and then they started doing drugs together, cocaine, ketamine, things like that. They didn't really go into meth or like pot or anything like that. It was more like blow and such. So they're doing this. Then they start swapping wives. April, I guess, is attracted to Nick. Kayla, who is Nick's wife, starts to have relationships with Aaron. And all accounts are from Aaron again, that right. Kayla and they were kind of falling for each other. Aaron saw the drugs that were being used, wanted to start getting out of it. They would party and then do their morning show. And I believe they started like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. and go like 4 hours. Wow. So you can't be partying like a rock star and then, do a live morning show for 4 hours. Someone's going to find out. They're going to tell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think they just got a little gregarious.
I guess people just crashing out in the middle of their stream after something like that. You know what I mean? So.
And Nick apparently was doing that. And like there was like a white substance under his nose that people said that they saw. There's some streams you can hear someone talking in the background and everybody thinks that's maybe April. But yes, she did leave to go be with Nick, and then they kind of swapped wives as they were going on. Again, all of this comes from Aaron. His children were intermingling with the Rekieta children as well. So they were kind of seeing what was going on. Aaron would say that the kids would be near the blow, and like the bullet that the April would use like was on the table one time where the children were at. And then later on, you find out within the reports from the police that the child had like tested positive for cocaine. The 9-year-old.
I was just going to ask you about that. I thought I had read or heard something where
right.
one of the children was positive.
So I guess a picometer is the way they measure the amount of cocaine and stuff in a hair follicle. A base level is 500. According to what the court said in the court documents, the child had 5,000, which Nick and his lawyer objected to. And that's all, again, in the transcripts and stuff like that from when they were speaking. So, again, they're exchanging wives. They're partying like rock stars. Aaron, again, according to Aaron, he's noticing the children aren't eating well. The kids are hungry all the time. So Aaron is making them SpaghettiOs. This is what he said. Like, he made them food and would take care of them and clean them, take care of them, would take them out, would help them with their Easter baskets.
How many children is this that he has? It's like 5? Is that what I heard?
Nick has 5. Aaron has 3.
Okay.
And so
And all 5 were living in the household as of currently when all these charges were being brought on?
Correct.
Okay.
The 3 were over with Aaron's wife, who has custody of them.
Okay.
So I believe also the children were telling his ex-wife, there's something going on here, something ain't right. And then I believe that's when Aaron told her, and then this all came out. And I think also Aaron may have gone to the police with some of this stuff too. Okay. So when Aaron went to the police, apparently is when Kayla and April both left Aaron and went to go be with Nick. And apparently that left him out of the polycule, the throuple, and that's when he went public. He started talking about it on streams and stuff like that. He hid it. He said it wasn't happening. He was saying that, April wasn't high, that they weren't high, that they were messed up. But apparently, according to him, that they were. April would party all night and then try to be on air. Said that Aaron was saying that April couldn't take being on the internet, and that's why she started to get away from it. But apparently she was having some kind of breakdown and stuff like that with doing too much, I'm saying methamphetamines, cocaine blow and stuff like that, ketamine, right. Partying with Nick, and then trying to do the show in the morning and stuff like that, was bringing everything down. And it was just becoming obvious too. Like, you can tell when someone's been messing with that white girl. I mean, come on, man,
Yeah.
And so you can see it on air, and you can see it in April, and then apparently you can see it with Nick. So they basically, got called out for it. April left, went with Nick, and stayed. So everything comes out live when Aaron is on MLC, which is Misery Loves Company. That's Kevin Brennan, who is a comedian, was on Star Search, was on SNL, big time guy, big show. He was telling his story about all the crazy things that they were doing, and all the blow and all the partying and stuff. And while he's live on air looking at his phone, he gets the text message that Nick, April, and Kayla had been arrested.
Oh,
wow. He can watch the clip. And the funniest thing is, I sent in a super chat because Aaron was talking about these crazy stories that they were doing, and I was going to ask him about those stories. Brennan pulls up my super chat. Aaron finds out live on air. So you see my face, Aaron's eyes freaking out, and it's like all locked into time together, like him and me are now bonded and stuff like that. And then Mr. Mediker is another guy in this other world, does a thing on it. So it's just this whole thing just intercircled with each other. Now, Nick was more from you call it the sector, like a different area where people are more right wing, a little more political talking, like your Nick Fuentes, your Ethan Rouse, and things like that.
I'm familiar with those names.
Right. So Aaron is more in the hackverse, like your John Melendez is. These are the comedians that are no longer comedians. Who are these podcasts? They basically watch podcasts, make fun of them. They're good stuff. A lot of it's focused on making fun of stuttering John Melendez, who was on the Howard Stern show back in the 90s into the 2000s. And so now these worlds kind of merged together. And so we're kind of seeing all this, looking at it from all these different angles and things like that. And that's just kind of been so interesting is, these different ecosystems now colliding and just following this story with like our guys and their guys and, just watching it.
Reminds me of that song, The Worlds Collide. You remember that?
Power Man 5000.
Yeah, there you go.
This is what it's like. Yeah, brother, exactly. And it's so crazy, just to see it evolve as it's going.
That's insane. Yeah, I wasn't see. That's why I'm glad we brought you on, because I wasn't aware about all that. Like just the whole. That's what I was really interested is just how this whole came to with these two individuals that have just obviously been, in my opinion, well, as far as what I've been, I guess you could say, watching and following. And I didn't really I didn't know much about them. So I was hoping that you were going to touch on a lot of that. So I appreciate you hitting on that. So it's crazy. This shit's insane. Like I said, it's almost like probably almost make a movie, weird Netflix documentary at minimum.
Lifetime, well, according to Aaron, had reached out to him about possibly doing a
already,
movie.
Huh? Wow. They don't I guess they don't fuck around.
No. Like it is hilarious watching this thing like just bubble up and stuff like that. So do you want the super update that we found out today, or do you want to still going with some of the past stuff? Like,
well, let me ask you this. So Because I think I may have gotten my date confused. When is the next court date? Do you know? Is that August 20th or the 28th? Because
I think it was the 28th, but that may be irrelevant
Let
now.
me see what I have on my calendar really quick. I think we had. Hold on, I didn't write it down because I think I was unsure, and that's my fault. Let me see here really quick. So I had it for, just so my folks know, we think we had it listed down for the 20th. Yeah. And so you're saying it was 28th, but that's.
I think there's a 2020, but
Okay.
it's going to be pretty irrelevant here.
Okay, sure. Let's get the up to date. Yeah, absolutely.
Apparently, Rekieta has taken a plea.
Wow.
Yeah, because as you know, when these people got arrested and stuff like that, they pled not guilty. You know why they do that. Your chat probably understands that. But even the Walmart massacre guy, Patrick Crucius, after getting arrested, saying he did it, pled not guilty. And obviously that's to plead later guilty in order to get a lesser sentence. I believe that's what happened. I'm going to read you a tweet because I don't think Nick tweets much on actual Twitter. He's on the other. And
if you don't mind me asking, did this news come from him, or is this something that's been put out as far as with through paperwork, any case paperwork or legal paperwork that's talked about?
Nothing legal, nothing whatsoever like that.
Okay.
Basically, tweet came out. PPP is the guy who works with Keno Casino and stuff like that. He's been following it as well. Rekieta tweeted out, "Today is an amazing day. Got fantastic news today. What started as normal has become an exceptional day. Finding time for next stream. Stay tuned." So now, I don't know if that's him saying that he has accepted a plea. A plea has come in. There's a bargain on the table, but that's kind of been the consensus from people taking in that tweet. Have not heard from Nick yet, so I'm not going to say that's official, but that's what's come out. That's your update as of 1 p.m. Central.
Now, I'm a little confused with Nick here. Maybe you can help me because obviously he tweeted this out, but I was watching something where he's made it pretty difficult for a lot of people to cover this case, or is trying to. I know that somebody had put in, I believe, a motion to request for this next, well, I guess what was going to be next hearing. So possibly maybe when this plea hearing comes up, to record or get the audio or video. I guess this is being done through Zoom platform.
That was wild.
And
I was there for that initial hearing.
I believe that
I was in the room.
A petition that was signed, and they were showing the FOIA requests that have been put out for this guy. I mean, it starts from just bottom little channels like me up to these huge, big news channels that are requesting internationally. Yeah. So obviously a lot of people are following this, but what's up with that? I mean, is he wants the attention, doesn't want the attention?
Oh, well, Nick, enough to know that he's very free speech, free everything.
Yeah, that's what I was reading. When he covers those cases, he's very and all that.
Open everything up. Let's see it all. So, problem with that was the officers had body cameras. They were going inside the home, and in the paperwork and reports, it says that his home was disgusting. That they were tripping over things. That there was clothes all over the floor. Everything was cluttered. It was bad for the children. There were drugs in the back bathroom where they came back to find everything and all that type of stuff. So Nick tried to suppress it. Well, he did, so that body cam footage did not come out. As soon as they were arrested, everybody was going for that body cam. So Candio,
right, I remember,
County, they put like a $10,000 amount on that body cam footage. So whoever paid it was going to be that stuff released. So they pushed it back, said you couldn't do it. Kiwi Farms got the $10,000 within like hours.
Wow. Ready
to go. And they're like, here's your money. And then they're like, oh, we got to redact the children's faces. We got to redact this. We got to redact, it's going to take all these hours, so we're not going to be able to get it to you in time. Basically, Nick had filed suppression movements and stuff like that to where they could not release a lot of that information yet. And then there's nothing that he did in when he was being released and stuff like that. These papers that had just been released. Someone is in this courthouse, in this courtroom or in Minnesota, taking snapshots of the actual court documents and the minutes and the transcripts of what took place, not in the trial hearing. Yeah.
So this is possibly a court employee that's leaking these documents then?
Dropping these documents.
People requesting them then, obviously.
Hey, because we don't have them. And anytime Nick does a stream, they release a little bit more documents. And so, like this latest one, it talks about how Nick was trying to tell on streamers like Aaron and me. I streamed it too. That first trial hearing, when he was in the jumpsuit and everything else, he wanted those people to get in trouble for streaming that live, because he said that the judge said you're not allowed to do that. How come these people are allowed to do it? I know people here that are doing it. So people were pretty pissed off with Nick for, saying that and doing that. And then another thing, when they were bringing up those picometers and the grams and stuff like that were found in the hair follicle, Nick had objected as the judge was talking, even though Nick had a lawyer. And so
I
the
had
lawyer
read something about that, yeah.
objected as well. And the judge is like, who's the attorney here? So there was a little issue with that too. So
yeah, I'm sure that judge is probably not too happy with him. I'm sure it's not the easiest to work with a guy like that. So
no, well, see, another thing with that is Nick had also said bad things about one of the judges that was going to be involved, also in part of the hearings. So he had got into like a tiff with one of them as well. So,
and I'd seen something about that in the clip that we watched earlier about the request, or putting in a request, I guess, for a change.
He's naming some of these employees, like I believe the CPS officer. This was it Tiffany Sweep or something like that.
Okay,
he's talking about calling them liars, yeah, and stuff like that.
And I think that was kind of one of the reasons that they were putting in that motion is like, this guy is literally, calling out your public employees. So let's see the truth. The public should have the right to see, and also it would behoove you, the city, to not let this, to stop this guy from calling you guys liars. Show the truth. So
yeah.
So at this point, it's pretty much at a halt. Body cam footage,
right?
And I don't think
they never come out now.
Reading or watching, they haven't. They really don't. I don't think they have a reply yet to that motion. Do you know? Yet,
no, I do not.
They have permission. Okay, so they don't know yet if they have permission to record. Interesting.
Well,
now, has anybody talked about actually physically going there and putting in a request to record? That's what I do. So that's what I'm wondering.
That'd be fantastic.
A lot of people are covering this off the internet, but are people just afraid to just physically go down to the courthouse? Or
no, I don't think it's so much that. I don't think people are there are people that are near it. I think it's one of these backwater counties that are up in Minnesota that not a lot of people are nearby, but those that are trying to get on this list. Like there was a movement that he had put in with his lawyer and stuff like that. So I don't know the actual legal terminology, so I'm going to make myself look like a buffoon, but requesting the right in order to record and stuff like that. So there are multiple people that are on this petition, I think is the term that they use.
Yeah, petition to court. The motion, and then there's the petition that's attached to it with the people's signatures.
Bingo. So there are hundreds of people, and then thousands, and then large channels, small channels, all types of people. I should have, but I did not put my name on the list as well. But I could, say I'm registered with the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters down here. I'm definitely following the trial. I could definitely use, NBC and Fox credentials to get it, but I don't want to get too involved. You know what I'm saying? I already have a job.
No, I understand that. Interesting. No, and I just was wondering about that. If you had heard or talked to anybody. Now, I was going to ask you one other thing, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. Have you had a chance in any of your coverage to reach out to Nick personally, or have you tried to ask him for an interview yet, or have you reached out to him through any Instagram or any platforms directly, and have you had a reply back?
No, I have not. And NJ, I don't want to get involved. I like the clipping side of things, where you know what I'm saying. I'm just kind of doing a little bit here, and then if I need to do like a stream or something like that, I don't mind doing that. But I don't want to make this a big deal. I want to report it. I want to be the face of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get involved with it too much. I think Nick would. I recently had my little Clipper war with some people that know Nick and like with Chrissy and some of these other people. So I just got done with a big battle there, and I'm trying to get out of that. But it was interesting, to kind of be involved with all those people. And learning all these monsters and the crazy things they do.
That goes down. Yeah.
I know you do. We talked about that. So, like I do and I don't, if that makes sense. Like I want to.
It does. It really does. I think, and I think a lot of my viewers can appreciate it, but I think it's just, unfortunately, there's a lot that comes with, when you do get to put yourself as kind of one of the lead faces out there covering these people, you're
Right.
going to get a lot of flack from the people that support the person that you're covering, you know, or
I don't want to be the story. It's their story.
right,
You know what I mean?
and so I understand it. I understand, and I always kind of, you know, I keep kind of steering away that yes, your channel is more clipping than, you know, actual like coverage like what I do. You know what I mean? So I apologize when I
No, don't.
put you on that
Like,
spotlight, but
no.
wasn't sure if you had an opportunity to,
I
you know,
thought
reach
about
out
it.
to the guy himself. You know, so
And like I said, I do know Nick a little bit. Like we had talked
I
before.
know
We
you had
know him from the
said
same
that a
place.
little bit earlier.
Yeah. He had actually said hi to me one time in one of like the chats because I was watching the Steel Toe show when they were still friends. And so I was like, is that Nicky Rax? And he goes, hey, what's up, Will Heron? I was like, hey, you know what I mean? It's been a minute. So like he would, and I know again some of his friends I've actually spoken to. So I could, but again, I just don't want
the
to.
exclusive Nick Rekieta or hold on,
But you'll get it.
Rekieta
Nailed it.
exclusive clip channel. Quick question though, kind of moving more towards the legal side of this. So assuming he might have a plea deal on the table, does he have any criminal background? I mean, does he have a record that you're aware of other than these current charges that, again, he hasn't been convicted of them, he's just being charged with, but are you aware of any previous convictions
The only problem that
he's
Nick has
ever
had
in his record?
on his record, from what we understand and what's been made public, is driving too fast. He has a lead foot. He drives a Mustang, and it's all out there in the police.
All right, nothing that would really affect,
Yeah.
you know, or be on a pre-sentence report. Or what I'm trying to get to is possibly what type of sentence what do you think might be put out there? Or what do you think might, you know, you think he's looking at jail time? I mean, you're talking children, you know, showing possession of allegedly of these amounts of you know, I don't call it a small amount according to what you know
26 grams of cocaine is a lot.
well, as far as the possession,
Not
yeah.
the party.
I was talking in reference to the what was found in the I guess you call the blood system or bloodstream.
Oh, the hair follicle.
The hair follicle, excuse
Yeah.
me. You know, so
No, I hear you, man. I want to be real right when I talk about
children as a
kids.
charge, and then the possession, which is a felony. I imagine the endangerment's a felony. So I'm just curious, you know, what type of plea deal these prosecutors are looking to offer with the guy that sounds like he needs some serious help, and it obviously is affected his kids, which is not fair, you know, to them. What's your personal opinion on that?
You know,
Jail or no? You think he's going to get sentenced?
yeah, you and me have covered these kind of things before in the past and stuff like that. And as you kind of prepped me when you asked me that question, you know, what's his criminal background like? He doesn't have any issues. There's no drug charges. There's no family issues. He was like an elder in the church. He obviously made his own money and things like that. He had a nice place going on. What is so confusing is like he keeps April around him though. Like April was in the gallery when they were being arraigned in and stuff like that. When they were going those court documents and they were talking with the court and stuff like that, April was there.
Oh wow!
So and that she is still a part of the group, like the quadruple thing. Like they're still hanging out together. Like I believe 2 weeks ago, these two went to a tattoo convention in Minnesota in the St. Paul area, and they were filmed getting tattoos together and walking around and stuff like that. And they weren't specifically looking for them to get video of them. They were just part of the video that was shot while, you know, the camera crew was there. And
right.
So they're not, and they've been seen together at restaurants. It's a reporter, you know, here and there. He is not pushing her away. Like cocaine was found on a credit card in her name. She was the nanny. She was supposed to be taking care of the children. She was supposed to be taking care of the home. You know, she's not supposed to have cocaine on the freaking, you know, her credit card and things like that. She's not supposed to be associated with this stuff.
Yeah.
And so Nick has another house as well. It's like a compound. Like he has his house and then there's another house next to it. Nick wanted April and Aaron to move into that with their kids as well. And so kind of all being together in this like weird big love type compound of homes and like swinging and things like that.
Yeah.
Like,
it almost sounds like some like those, what I guess they call them, like those
a polycule.
Yeah, I don't know what.
A couple.
I don't know what I'm trying to say again. I'm probably having a brain fart, but I mean, it's just those communities where that's what they do. You know, it's just a bunch of pretty much these people that have open relationships with each other, and from it have a lot of children, and it's just kind of the way it goes, you know.
Yeah, but like Nick, like he's kind of like the cult leader. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
I
that's
didn't want to use the word cult, but yeah, that's
know.
what's kind of sounding like, you know, when you're saying compound and he's, you know, so interesting. So he's still got this April, obviously still in relation. And so what's the relationship between him and Aaron right now? They're obviously
between Nick and Aaron.
Nick and Aaron, yeah.
Okay, so like I said, all the stuff that we know about and that we've been hearing about and things like that, other than what was released from the court documents, Aaron has told us. Since this began, Aaron has been nonstop talking about. That's why I have a clip channel, NJ. That's why I got like thousands of subscribers, because everybody wants to see what this guy says. They don't want to watch his 4-hour stream. They want to watch my 10-minute.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate your hard work, and I'm sure a lot of people do, because
it is a pain in the ass.
When I used to clip Ski Mask Annie, like I said,
you know,
I was joking. I lost brain cells. I told you, physically lost brain cells that I'm barely regaining now. That's these brain farts I have. This is an aftermath of that. You know, almost 6 months to a year of watching this guy's streams and clipping them for the sake of others not having to do that. So I know the hard work that gets put into it, so I appreciate it. But basically, the answer to my question is probably they're not too happy with each other, since obviously one's, you know,
so
disclosing a lot of information that obviously Nick,
Aaron won't shut up.
Doesn't want to go out. Obviously,
is quiet about that part. Like, because this is my opinion. A lot of people agree as well. Nick is going to sue the pants off of Aaron or do whatever he possibly can to go after Aaron. In my opinion, because Aaron just like won't stop, and Nick is he's not saying anything. He's like, all he says in reference to Aaron when it comes to talking about Aaron, he goes, "I wish him $1 million. There's this guy talking about me. We all know who it is. I wish him $1 million." That's all he says, and that's his FU.
So yeah, he's playing. He's definitely sounds like he's setting it up for some type of civil
bingo
road. Wow,
he set the trap up, and Aaron has just been jumping in it. You know what I mean? And not caring. So like, and it's so funny because like Aaron's like this doofus, like he's like Goopy from like Disney, and like you don't want to think he's a bad guy, but he's just so dopey, and he doesn't.
Right.
He does these dumb things. He's just like stupid. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? But he's like a kid almost. But I think he thinks he's gaining from this. And he is. He's gotten money from it. Subscribers, his views and stuff like that are up. More people are watching his show. But I don't think he sees the bad in that in the long term, the long game. You know, where people are like, this guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to get better.
Especially when you're dealing with a lawyer, you know. So
and kids and, you know, families. And he lost his wife. The wife stayed with Nick.
Yeah, no, that's
you know what I mean?
A wild story with everything that you told me.
She's still there.
Yeah.
Think about
that. As people, I had a question. As far as people that are, so obviously Nick and his wife were arrested. Do you know what's going on with her legally?
With Kayla?
I know they had, I think they had charged them with the same charges, if I wasn't mistaken.
So I believe it was earlier in the week is when it came out that April was possibly going to be charged. So
April, okay. How about Kayla?
What we had heard recently within like the past day or so is like Kayla was going to be able to take a plea. But that's what we were wondering about. Oh, yeah, and Calval talking about sending naked pics online live. Yeah, that's another crazy story, too. I'm glad she brought that up. But, yeah, we'll kind of finish with not finish.
Yeah, and I was actually going to go to I was going to shut up and just start letting the audience see if they had any questions for you, because I've been doing a terrible job of looking and trying to, and pay attention to you. Because I it's hard for me. It really.
I know, I've done it before.
And then
it's hard to produce a show.
I try. So I definitely want everybody in chat, if they have any questions, to please have the time and be able to ask you. So please, if you guys have any questions for Will, just start answering them, and I'll start paying attention now, and I'll ask them for him. And if you see any that you want to address, by all means. But yeah, please continue on. If I didn't mean to interrupt you about what you were saying.
So basically, like what we were hearing is that Kayla was going to accept a plea deal, but we were wondering I say we, like, I got a group of people with me, but like, the people following this are wondering, is she going to flip on Nick? And from what I understand, I'm not a lawyer, but you're not allowed to testify, or you can't force them to testify against their married spouse or something like that. So we're all kind of confused. How can she accept a plea if they're married and they're going to be charged
I believe
together?
it has to do with, as far as any statements that are made between the two is considered like, I don't know the exact legal term. I'd have to talk to my Papa courts to get the exact term, but there is something that has to do. It's kind of like with the lawyer. It's lawyer
Confidentiality or something?
confidentiality or something, privilege or something like that. So
when they're married,
a little bit with kind of the same thing as being that they're married. That some things may not be allowed as evidence as far as statements that were said to each other. It's what I think. And again, I'm not a lawyer, so.
Yeah. So, like, you understand, everybody's being charged. We were looking at, Kayla possibly taking a plea, possibly Nick taking a plea. He may be streaming tonight. I'll probably be, grabbing that and seeing what's going on that, so I know, up to date. But your other question is what's going to happen to people? Like, again, you and me have a little experience in kind of watching these things, and your question is, did Nick have any experience with the law and stuff like that on the bad side of it? I think obviously no, he's had no issues other than speeding tickets. I see him getting a class, probation, adjudication, just like Alyssa Jordana.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, she brawled with Ziza Cordo in that car, man. They were going at it. Like they were fighting.
We just had a case this morning with Amber HHH. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that individual. I mean, we kind of saw a little bit of that. I mean, you're talking about a person that's got an extensive criminal record and broke their probation, and pretty much was given an opportunity to go through drug court, which, if they fail at that, they're going to be in jail. But they still were given a chance and I'm glad, again, I'm not, trying to wish anything on people, but
completely agree.
It's kind of like, you know what I mean? So based on that, when you're talking about, even though these charges, in my opinion, are pretty serious, you got children that are endangered, involved with serious things, with this thought of these drugs being cut with fentanyl and stuff like that. Yeah. These kids could have easily, die or go to the hospital and get sick, allegedly, if that's what they're, doing or ingesting. But anyway, where I'm going with this is, based on a lot of the people that we have covered that have had extensive records, even Ski Mask Andy's another one that, we see them get a lot of breaks, man. So honestly, I am going to probably concur with you because based on just the fact that he doesn't have a previous criminal record, right. And, these judges, they're not viewing this guy as like viewers do. They don't know a lot of all this inside of like what we're talking about, the whole backstory, this and that, who he is, whether he's a narcissistical sociopath that probably should get a little bit more. They just go based on the facts and what the law is and how they're supposed to sentence and how, everything is according. So I think, I most likely think that, especially if it's gone to a plea deal, that it's going to be something along the lines of some probation, full adjudication, as long as he sticks to the probation, and we'll see from there, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So pretty much that's where we're at right now, is just waiting to see when this next court date's going to be scheduled for, possibly, I guess, this plea deal to be arranged, and I guess we'll find out more info at that point. Is that basically, I think, where we're at?
Yeah, basically just trying to find out what they have to say. We'll hear more from Nick, I assume, tonight or maybe tomorrow with an update to that. And then, we'll definitely know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, Eric W. seems to kind of agree with me on that. Dude, the kid could have OD'd easily. A wrist slap ain't going to cut it. I agree.
Yeah. It's hard to prove is what I was kind of getting at, too. Like, yes, the child did have that amount in the hair, but I mean, these are kind of junk sciences sometimes, like that it could be a false positive.
Right, yeah.
I'm not trying to be advocate for the devil, but
there's obviously, the lawyers are gonna. There's obviously, things that can be said, obviously, on his defense to try to, work around that. So
I'm not trying to bury Nick and stuff like that.
No,
but
I know.
It's also, it's bad. What he did was bad. Hopefully, you come out of something like this, sobers up, gets tested all the time, and can learn from this and move forward.
Right.
People deserve redemption, and I feel sorry
Absolutely.
for the children. They're going through this, and it's public, and remember I was telling you about my little Clipper Armageddon thing. I dealt with that for like a week. It was pretty miserable for like a week, but Nick's been dealing with this since like May. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the kids are with the grandparents, and like the kids have YouTube. They're not stupid. 9, 10-year-olds, they know how to work YouTube. So
you put in that last name,
put in my last name, you'll find them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
yeah. So I do have to, but everybody in this sucks. And we just kind of, as everybody agrees to, it's always about the kids. Let's get this right. No one should be taken away from their parents. No one raises their kids better usually than their parents and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, I do, but, and then I'm not like disagreeing with you. I'm just, I go back to a lot of these people that I cover, and I'm just thinking that they're still horrible parents.
Yeah.
And some of them honestly shouldn't be raising their kids because it's fucked up what's going on. Again, I'm not referring to this case. It's just what I was thinking about some of the other people, and I'm just like, it's just nuts, man.
It's a wild story, man. It
is. It really is. And I think there's
sex, drugs, rock and roll, Christianity.
Yeah, and then you got that whole end of it. You got somebody that LARPs as this hardcore Christian, and then you're out sniffing the yayos and partying it up.
And he's doing these biblical streams after being arrested for all this stuff, talking about his trials are the same as David's back in like the Old Testament. You're like, Nick.
Yeah, when
I respect the religion, I do.
But part of it starts coming out, and that's what we see with a lot of these people, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy. The similarity that I see, even from a guy like what I would consider a much smarter, well-versed person like Nick versus somebody like Ski Mask Annie that I'm covering, but yet I see all these similarities. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy. You need to see a lawyer with a family, and you got some just deadbeat dad, and Nick could probably be that too at this point, but allegedly, but you got, Ski Mask, just extensive criminal record, deadbeat dad, still getting chances, kind of like this guy. But either way, the point I'm trying to make is it's just they share that narcissism, that kind of just,
they gotta win.
Trouble they're facing still, coming on stream. Me personally, if I was in that guy's position, I would not even be on fucking YouTube.
No, you would never see me.
I wouldn't be discussing anything about my case. I wouldn't be going on stream. I wouldn't, nada.
Right.
That's just me. But that's
Nick
just
does these hot tub streams.
Yeah.
But he's in a hot tub with the camera and just talking about his case.
I wouldn't even have,
the DA
level I would have at that point, just everything you're facing and going through, it just blows my mind how these people can just keep like a straight face and like,
Dude,
like it's just like a regular day, nothing happened, let's just roll with another stream, like
What I would think, like if I were a kid and I'm seeing my dad in the hot tub, I'm like, why am I stuck here at grandma's house eating freaking peanut butter and jelly? I guess they're glad to be eating, but like, I see dad in the hot tub. He looks like he's having a blast. I wish I was home in the hot tub.
Yeah, well, and that's what I'm saying.
Like,
I mean, you got a guy doing that.
He's in the hot tub.
He couldn't even take care of his children, according to what the documents are saying.
But then, like, you shouldn't be mad at ever wanting to be in a hot tub. I mean, what's wrong with that? That's
Hey, I streamed out of a hot tub too, so I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know where to throw the book at him, because obviously we're not better, but like.
No, nobody's perfect. I think I'm just a little bit more of a harsher critic, just because a lot of the shitheads I dealt with. So
yeah,
again, and I don't know much about this guy, and that's why I'm glad you came in, and I learned a lot. I've learned a lot from you, so
that's wild.
That
we're just scratching the surface.
Do you guys have anything for Will before we call it a night? Because he's got a lot of work to do, and I appreciate you, taking the time tonight to, and it was kind of a last minute request to ask you to come on. So
you're my boy.
You. I appreciate that.
Always.
A lot of people may not know, but me and Nick got to meet. We had a few beers and had a cool conversation, and got to meet each other in real life. So I was very, very happy.
NJ, you called me Nick.
Nick, Will, sorry.
Nick. Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Will.
No, you did not hang out with Nick. You hung out with me.
I hung out with Will.
I wish you hung out with Nick. That'd be a good story, man.
Like, I don't even think like, oh, this guy barely. No, I just had a long day.
That's
so
okay.
I apologize, but I know.
Yeah, no, we had a blast.
Okay, I speak with Will. So this is not like the first time like Will came on, and I'm just trying to, okay, this is Will. Hey, Will, no, I
No,
know.
dude, it was great going and hanging out with you. I've done so many stories in that area over the years, like TV stories and stuff like that. So, like just driving down that road reminded me of like a big. I don't know if you remember, there was a pallet fire just down that road a little bit, and it was like 7 stories tall pallet
Oh wow!
fire.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow.
I remember that football player. Was it Mountain View High? Now it used to be on
Yes,
Yates.
that's the new.
He died. He got hit like a couple years ago. He just died after the game and stuff.
Oh
like
yes,
that.
yes, yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Like,
That was
I
really
did all
sad.
those stories.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember when weed was
that.
legalized
I remember
there.
that.
Yeah, I was
Cool.
there for all that.
Hey,
So,
well,
like,
you should come down and join me on we should do a collaboration El Mayo stream, man. That's what I tried to bring some coverage on this last hearing that he had, and he's had to do an in-person appearance in El Paso, and he's obviously in custody somewhere at a federal facility in that area. But
that's the drug dealer, right?
yeah,
Yes,
the drug kingpin El Mayo, and then of course El Chapo's son was the one that was all in this whole whatever's going to come out of it. And so I know he was up in Chicago facing an indictments up there. I don't know if they're going to charge him with anything down in El Paso, but either way, the federal case for El Mayo, pretty much the guy that took over El Chapo's position, and who a lot of people are saying was the original kingpin for the Sinaloa cartel, but was just the guy in the shadows, versus El Chapo was more the, everybody knows him, and, putting his face out there, the face of the cartel. But yeah, very interesting coverage we tried to do. It was fun, and it was cool because I got to see the whole kind of media circus that goes on, in front of the house and stuff. And yeah, it was fun. So if you ever make it back down in this area, let me know, and we see when the next court date's going to be for El Mayo, and do like a little collab stream. That'd be fun. Definitely.
We gotta answer Val Cal's question though.
What is Val Cal's question there?
She was talking about the nudes, Kayla's nudes.
Oh yeah, so let's talk about these nudes.
Yeah, I'll get at it on that one. So basically, Kayla sent Aaron some nudes, and this is all conjecture. This is what Aaron said, and Aaron was hanging out with a guy by the name of Gino Visconti. Gino, I believe, was in New York at this time, so they would stream together, kind of like you and me right now. Okay. So Gino was on, Aaron was on. They were joking, doing their show. Aaron, they started talking about like what Kayla looked like, and some hot girls, and what Aaron is banging and stuff. And so Aaron sent a picture of Kayla that Kayla sent Aaron, the nude, and sent
on the stream.
While on the stream, they're talking about like nudes. They're talking about like hot chicks and girls they've seen, blah blah. So Aaron's like, "Hold on, buddy, hold on. Did you get that right there?" And then Gino's like, "Oh, whoa, there's a tattoo above her breast and stuff like that." And so like, it literally goes like that. And then Aaron goes, "Your boy didn't do too bad, did he?" And then Gino's Gino didn't go like, "Oh yeah, I love it," but he also wasn't like, "What the fuck? This is disgusting." He was just like, "Oh, okay," and try to kind of play it off like you would. Like, right. If I sent you a nude of some chick I was banging, you'd probably be like, "Oh, okay, you're stupid," but like, blah blah blah. But he literally sent Kayla's picture.
So they didn't put it up though for the public to see his reaction though. Well, that's still, you can get in trouble for that. You know what I mean?
It's revenge porn.
Absolutely, especially the way he sent it like that. That's crazy,
right? And so, apparently, Gino Visconti's fiance, Keanu Thompson, and this is what Keanu said, that someone from Minnesota, a police officer, called her to ask about it and to talk about it. So now that could be true. Or someone could have just called Keanu and said that they were this person or something like that. Or Keanu's an idiot, made it up. But that was said.
Wow, that's crazy, man. And again, just speaks on how a lot of these, what the fuck, it just goes through the mind of some people on live stream. Either way, it's bad. You don't do that type of stuff.
Of course.
I mean, so it sounds like this guy Aaron is probably pretty much going to be setting himself up for some civil trouble. Allegedly.
I think Aaron's going to tee off, man. Aaron's going to Nick's going to just batter up.
Jeez. Well, Will, is there anything else you'd like to share before we call it a night? Before I end the show, I'm going to do some shout outs to some of the donations that came through while we had our show. And again, I owe you a beer, so no joke. All right.
I'll drink it.
Coming on, or if you if you ever want me as a guest, just say.
I'll call you. Hey, was there any questions from the chat? Was there anything that you wrote down?
I didn't see anything else other than from Kelvals, and there's other people hitting about the nudes. But let me just go back here really quick and just backtrack and just make sure.
Papa, I want to take care of your peoples.
We have Sunshiny saying, Will, you did a great job summarizing this crazy case.
Sunshiny. Thank you.
Let's see about it. I'm going up here too. Let's see. Coca Linda is one hell of a drug. I
that white girl will get you.
Let's see. Winston Smith says the Farms has the most up-to-date info.
Yeah, that's the Kiwi Farms.
Okay. And I don't see any other questions on here. So I think you did a terrific job of covering everything, really. I mean, you hit on everything that I had questions on, and then obviously more. So I especially because I wanted to learn more about this whole just scandal going on, and you went in depth with it. So I appreciate all the information. I appreciate your professionalism. Thank you for being here. And
I'll dress up next time. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. Well, like I said, it was funny because I figured I didn't want to underdress because I said, shit, man, if I just keep on what I had, Will's going to think I'm just some slob and unprofessional bringing him on as a guest. And here I am looking like I just finished mowing the lawn, which is almost looking like what I did. But Will, again, I appreciate you coming on. Again, you guys, let me just post some links here. If you want to shout out, I had posted earlier your channel link as well as your Twitter, I think is what.
Perfect.
Is that what you had told me? Is that what you had said? Okay. Or X as they call it. But
whatever the kids are calling it.
Let me repost again Will's channel link. And again, I definitely subscribe if you have not already.
Thank you.
And Will is definitely on top of the coverage on this case. So as much as I'll try my best to keep everybody updated, please, I'm going to say Will is going to be obviously doing a much better job. So if you're wanting to be up to date, definitely follow Will and what he's covering in all his videos. And now you're doing some live streams, right?
Yeah. Every now and then I pop in and do a live stream. Like after my little drama that I had last week, I did it just one line stream to kind of tell my side and get out of it. But every now and then, like when something crazy happens, like I was going to stream for the next hearing that Nick was going to go to, but that's not going to happen. Yeah. Or I was going to do maybe an area. Just like you said, every now and then I pop in and do a show.
Oh, good, man. And you know what? Don't let that drama get to you. I know it doesn't, but,
No, you're right. It's stressful.
It is, though. It can be. So, all right. Well, I appreciate it. You have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we'll talk to you soon. All right?
Hasta luego, compa.
Hey, hasta la vista, my friend. Will Heron, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Will. Appreciate it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Baseline. We'll start with you. Baseline measure. Dude, that is like quadruple. I didn't even think we had 16 months of memberships, Baseline. Hello, boys. I'm back. Baseline, thank you so much for 16 months of continued support, my friend. This gavel slam goes out to you. Oh, and if there's still anybody here that's viewers of Will's, I apologize. We're going to get a little bit loud. That's how we do our shout outs. But, and again, I apologize for not being able to shout, obviously during an interview. I don't want to, if it was something else, I definitely do a pause for the cause and shout everybody out. But I'm not going to do that with an interview. So thank you again for everybody's patience. I really appreciate everybody's support this evening. I want to start with the Black Widow channel. Black Widow channel celebrating 13 months as a member of the jury. Thanks for all the hard work. Black Widow channel, thank you so much for all your continued support. I appreciate it, my friends. And also, thank you for all your hard work. I have enjoyed all your content. And if you guys have not subscribed to it yet, check out the Black Widow channel, please. Sunshinery, if you don't mind, if you could post that link, or if any of the other mods could, I would appreciate that for the Black Widow channel. But Black Widow channel, this gavel slam goes out to you, my friend. And then we got Black Widow channel that gifted 10 memberships to the NJ Courts jury. So welcome to the 10 new members of the jury. That's 15 new members today. So Black Widow channel, thank you again so much for your continued support. And welcome to the 10 new members of the jury. This gavel slam goes out to you. Keep them gavels spamming, ladies and gentlemen. I was going to say slamming. Spamming, ladies and gentlemen. Darlene Valenzuela with a $5 super sticker. Darlene, thank you so much for all your support. And Darlene, I'm so glad that you reached out. You were the only package that I couldn't send out. For some reason, I cannot find an address to send to you. So if you can reach out to me on Instagram, I just need an address so that I can send out your buttons, please. But this Gavel Slam goes out to you. And thank you for that $5 super sticker. I think we got everybody. Let me check my phone really quick. All right. Yep, we got everybody covered. Again, if you have any questions that may have not been answered this evening, you can reach out to myself, reach out to Will, and we'll do our best to get back to you. Of course, you know me. I try my best to get back within 24 hours. Usually I get back way before that. But please, you can reach out to me through Instagram, through the channel's email. You leave a comment on the video after the video ends. Donnie Darko, welcome. We got Donnie Darko. Welcome as a new member. I appreciate your support. And welcome as a member of the jury, Donnie Darko. You guys know what to do. Spam them gals to welcome our new member. And welcome to the jury. You got some cool emojis you get to spam now, Donnie Darko. Baseline measure. We need a 1-year badge when you have time. Love you, bro. We definitely do. I'm actually just started updating, which I did a really shitty job. I started adding some emojis. I tried to add a little Scarface one that didn't come out too well, as you can see. But I will do that. We definitely need to update the badge. Buttons have gone out. Calendar has been updated. I'm going to post the e-calendar as soon as we're done tonight. So your boy is catching up. I promise. I had a busy last month, busy this month, but I'm trying my best. So thank you guys for your patience. I love you. I really do. And again, thank you for your patience and support. All right. Did I get everybody? Let me go down here and see. But Baseline, thank you so much. That Gavel Slam goes out to you. And definitely I will work on a 1-year badge. Absolutely. It's going to be an OG ass badge for sure. Do we have any other questions, comments, concerns, complaints in the chat? Bart, what legal bearing you have to cover Nick Rekieta? You don't have to have a legal bearing to cover an individual. He's a public official. This is a news court channel. I don't understand your question. But anyways, thank you for the comment. Sounds like you may have to go back and maybe learn a little bit about the whole way this works. Sorry, my brain's starting to stop working. Thank you, Donnie Darko. Public record. Oh, man. You know what? Bart, go. What do they tell Bart? Oh, go eat some shorts. All right, you guys. Anyways, always got to appreciate our little troll. Although you're not a fun one, man. You got to be a little bit more original. But you're probably not one of the OG viewers or OG trolls, so I could tell. Anyways, ladies and gents, you have a wonderful evening. This concludes tonight's show. In case you missed our earlier stream this morning, we feature the Amber HHH disposition case. Very interesting. Learned a lot. So if you didn't have a chance to check that out, that VOD is obviously still up. Shout out to my replay gang that's going to be checking this out tonight. Again, I know it was a late one for our friends on the East Coast. About almost midnight here in about 20 more minutes. So thank you guys. You guys on the West Coast, it's barely 8:39. So no, but I appreciate you guys staying up with me. We got a busy week. It's got a lot of coverage that we're going to be covering with these court cases coming up in August. I've got a lot of investigations that are going on, which can lead to, more court cases that we're adding, and you know how it goes, but stay tuned. Let's see. Today is Wednesday. Generally, we may do something over the weekend, but what I do have planned, or what I am planning, is a very fun IRL stream towards the end of the month. I don't know if you guys want to start looking it up, I'll give you a little hint. It's called the Zozobra event. It's in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's going to be, I think they're like 100th. It's going to be like a really important one this year. And it's a badass event already, and it's something that I want to share with you guys. Look it up. It's pretty cool. Either way, we'll talk about it a little bit more. We're going to definitely do something to get our fundraiser back going for the buttons now that I have figured out a very efficient and correct way to ship these out. It took me 3 trips to the post office. No joke. So thank you for everybody's patience, but I finally figured it out. So it's on like Donkey Kong. So we'll go ahead and restart that fundraiser. That way we can get rid of all of them, and you guys can vote on a organization, nonprofit, whomever you think deserves a donation to help them out. Okay. Baseline Measure asks, NJC, can we donate to a new phone? For moi? I got the S23, baby. I don't think I need a new phone yet. Or are you talking about little Skiwi? If you are, though, you don't need my permission. You know I won't judge you if you want to help the little dude out. But don't get mad when he breaks that phone and I said, I told you so. All right. I'm just kidding with you, Baseline. But I appreciate everybody, again, support this evening. I appreciate everybody's time, Again, thank you, Will, most importantly, as our special guest for taking the time out of his important day to join us. And again, very informative, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Learned a lot, Will. So I think we'll probably see you sometime this weekend. I'll probably do like a walk and talk. Like I said, I'm starting to kind of what's a good way? Give me a second. I'm trying to figure out a good way to say this. Damn, I had it and then I brain farted. But pretty much I'm trying to tie there we go. I'm tying a lot of loose ends this week so that I can hopefully have some complete coverages and things like that. You know what I mean? For those that know. So I'm on it. And that's pretty much where I stand. Okay. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Keep your notifications on. That's the best way to see, know when we're going to be back on. Obviously, I don't have a schedule for this month. And tonight, or I promise by tomorrow morning, I just got to make sure there's no other dates and things I got to put on there. I'm going to just review the e-calendar one last time before I post it. But you should be able to see that by tonight or tomorrow morning. And you'll have a good idea of what we got coming up for the month of August. All right, ladies and gentlemen. 2% Black. I spoke on that a little bit earlier. If you want to catch that on the previous VOD. Just so much stuff being said, talked about. I'm not going to speak on any of that until I finally have an answer and feel comfortable speaking on that, which most of y'all know I don't do anything unless I have legal documents or facts in front of me, So, but add to the list of other investigations I got going on too. So, again, I appreciate everybody's support and patience on that, but I am actively working on everything we've talked about. Trust me. And you know how it goes. We get to everything. Nothing will slide by. You're good. You don't need to apologize. Not at all. I brought it up earlier because there's a lot of people talking about it in chat, and I know it was going to be asked. So don't apologize. All right, you guys, definitely one last for Mr. Will Heron. Again, please subscribe to his channel. Notifications all on. That way you get, he's posting clips every day, okay? And putting in that hard work, because it really is. You're talking about somebody that's got to dedicate that time in addition to everything else they got going on, and then put it in a little summary, though. That way other people that are busy don't have to, or people that just, there's some people you can't sit there like, maybe me and watch for a few hours, so kudos to the clip channels. All right. Have a nice night, everybody. Don't forget, keep your head on a swivel. Check that 6 every once in a while. Take some time to love somebody, please. We need a lot of that going around. And I love you guys as always. I appreciate everybody's support. Welcome to all the new members of the jury. I got 5 more jury memberships that I can give out. So I plan on doing that on my next live stream. Appreciate everybody that's helped with the fundraiser for our Good Cause project. And we'll continue on, my friends. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and please take care. NJ Courts is officially out! Yeah! We got Dobby now. If we can just get Dobby and Rio at the same time, we're golden. Up here. Have a good night, y'all. Appreciate it. Peace!